Hi guys, how's it going? Chris Graham here for not the Chris Graham that supports Rangers, just to clarify that. Some of you might get that joke. We're talking stats chat tonight. It's Thursday night for the guys at wheelerbetting.co.uk. Looking at 5 games this weekend with some very sexy stats attached to them. And I'm just going to get straight into things and talk about the Norwich Man City game at the weekend. How will Man City react to that surprising defeat, you have to say, on Monday night by Mourinho's Chelsea? That's the question we've got to ask ourselves. We're up against Norwich the weekend, and when they play Norwich, they ooze goals. They ooze goals. There's just a cluster of goals and an orgy of goals when Man City and Norwich take to the field. 32 goals the last 5 times the sides have met. What's that? That's an average of 6.4 per game. So you might well look at over 3.5, over 4.5, whatever. Man City played 5-1, 4-drawn, 0, lost 1 in that spell. They've had a 7-0 win, they've had a 6-1 win, they've had a 5-1 win. And Norwich have got in there too as well, with a 3-2 win at the Etihad on the last game of last season. I think that was Mancini's last game, or I think it was the first game after he left. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's a shocking result, though, isn't it? Norwich beating Man City at the Etihad, albeit in a dead game. But there we go. All of it goes when these sides meet. Will that be the case again this weekend? QPR against Derby. We opposed QPR last week. The stats told us to. They said, do not back QPR to beat Burnley because they've never beaten them in 8 games. You can make it 9 now. Because, of course, they drew 3-3, wasn't it, last Saturday. This week, we're staying with QPR because they're unbeaten in 6 against Derby. This is a fascinating fixture. 2 high-flying sides in the Championship. QPR played 6, won 3, drawn 3, lost none against Derby over the last 5.5 years. Last time Derby beat them was in September 2008, a 2-0 win. Goals from Martin Albrechtsen and Emmanuel Villa. Never heard of them. Never heard of them. Anyway, game 3, Exeter against Portsmouth. Portsmouth, my word, what's going on there? They're slipping towards the non-league. Would you believe it? God, Cup 1 was just 6 years ago anyway. I get the feeling I'm supposed to feel sympathetic about that, but actually I do not feel any sort of sympathy towards them. Sorry. Portsmouth unbeaten 7 against Exeter, so that is quite a decent start in their favour. Played 7, won 5, drawn 2, lost 0. And they won the last 3 ties against Exeter as well. So a really solid record against the side at the bottom of England, wherever that is, Devon, is it? And a 2-1 win in the 1992. What's going on here? Sorry. Yeah, looking back at some of the previous fixtures, a 2-1 win in the 1992 FA Cup third round for Portsmouth over Exeter. You remember Portsmouth got to the semi-finals of the FA Cup that year. They lost to Liverpool in penalties. Dan Anderton's missing the penalty that knocked them out. I remember that. And also they beat them 5-0 in the 1980-81 Division 3 season. The last time Exeter won was January the 14th, 1981. A 2-0 win that particular day. This was number 1. Of course, it was just a few weeks after the shocking death of John Lennon, and that was number 1 in the charts that particular week. The last time Exeter beat Portsmouth, January the 14th, 1981. Game 4, Scunthorpe against Chesterfield. Scunthorpe unbeaten in 9 against the Spirites. Very, very impressive. Played 9, won 6, drawn 3, lost 0. The last time Chesterfield won was January the 13th, 2001. I had a look at the football world that day in particular. Incredible stuff. Sunderland beat West Ham 2-0 that day in the Premier League to move up to 2nd in the table. 2nd in the table in January. Sunderland, incredible. They were, though, 11 points behind Manchester United, who ended up winning the title. Sunderland finished 7th that year, but up in January, they were 2nd in the league. Incredible. And game 5, it's always a Scottish game. I ain't changing that now, that's for sure. Dumbarton against Alloa is the game I want to tell you. Dumbarton, very, very strong record against the Wasps. Unbeaten in 10 against Alloa Athletic. They've had a 5-1 win, a 4-1 win, and a 3-1 win amongst that 10-game unbeaten spell. Last Alloa win, August 2009, a 3-1 win that day. All about Dumbarton in that fixture. Those are the 5 games I've talked to you about this week in Stats Chat. Have a great weekend.